Basically, Gary Kirsten had zero coaching experience back in the day, and he was appointed as the coach of the most high-profile cricket team in the world, and that is Team India. Hey guys, you're watching RCB 12th Man TV. This is me, Navneet Krishna. Like I mentioned, our first RCB 12th Man TV exclusive. Very excited to be sitting here. The person sitting to my left obviously needs no introduction, but I am going to say this. Responsible for taking India to #1 in Test cricket in 2009. Coached India to World Cup glory in 2011. Well, we all remember that. Taking his home country, South Africa, to #1 in Test cricket. Someone who we consider as our very own here in India. Gary Kirsten, very, very excited to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out for us. And you also happen to be our first guest on RCB 12th Man TV, so thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
After the IPL 2018, what have you been around? What has Gary Kirsten been doing?
I've got a coaching business back home in South Africa, so that's been keeping me busy. So when I go home, it's time with the family and just getting involved in that little coaching business. Yeah.
While I was preparing for this interview, Gary, I happened to stumble upon a video. You narrated your story about how you were appointed as the coach of the Indian cricket team back in the day. And that was an amazing story. So in the interest of the audience and interest of time, I'm going to cut short that story into one line. Basically, Gary Kirsten had zero coaching experience back in the day, and he was appointed as the coach of the most high-profile cricket team in the world, and that is Team India. What do you think worked in your favor? Did they ever tell you why you got appointed as the coach of the Indian team?
I think they try to match my personality with what the Indian team required, and in many ways it probably worked because I think very soon we began to realize as a group of people that we could get on, and I thought that was always a strong departure point. Yes, I had a blank sheet of paper when I arrived from a coaching perspective point of view. I played the game 17 years professionally, so I was really just drawing on my international playing experience and the coaches that I'd worked with and the ones that I really respected, and try to get their view, and understand the way they coach and the stuff that I liked, and I began to introduce that into the Indian team.
You've coached international teams, you've coached franchise teams, and they're probably very different beasts in the way you handle this. Players need to adapt in terms of playing for the country and playing for a particular franchise. How does a coach or a manager adapt to the different cricket that we see in these two formats?
I think it's quite a challenge, to be honest, from a coaching perspective. When you're with an international team, you have a long time with each player, and really at the end of the day, the coaching role is to enable the team to reach its full potential and each individual. So when you've got time with an individual to get to know them, they begin to trust you in terms of what you can offer them. I think you can start to really influence and shift a player or a team in a positive direction. Yeah, you've got 50 days and you've got to move really quickly, and you've got a whole lot of different cultures coming together. Some players, even in India, haven't been to Bangalore much, So it's I think for me that's been quite a challenge, but also because it's now my fourth year in IPL. Started to build on the mistakes that I've made in the past, and also the learnings that one can take forward in how to put the team together very quickly and how to build some sort of a bigger purpose or a shared value that everyone can play towards. And I think that's probably the toughest challenge.
When you're coaching a team for the first time, what goes on in your mind? What are the observations that you're looking at? What are your plans when you're looking at a team for the very first time?
As a coach, be careful to jump onto any conclusions too quickly, because often players will take time to show themselves and their abilities, and you might be impatient to that. So I've kind of learned just to sit back a little bit, be patient, allow players to kind of play their cards as who they are as people and their abilities and their talents, and then from there and from that departure point, maybe say, okay, now I see what a shared purpose could look like, and let's move in that direction. That's why I think coming back year on year in one team can make a big difference, because there's such a quick turnaround.
And this is probably a tricky question, and I'd love to know how you handle this. RCB has a reasonably large foreign contingent. Only 4 can play in a given game. How easy or difficult are these conversations when you're talking to the foreign players, considering that they're all big names in their own right?
I think the beauty is that cricket's a common language around the world, and especially T20 cricket, you generally know what you're going to get in any given situation, and our preparation around that, I believe, is fairly standard. There are obviously nuances to the game because it is a complex, unpredictable environment, but I think there are nuances that makes you kind of look at each particular game on its own and strategize accordingly. But I think what I've liked about it is the intensity of the event, kind of what it feels like when you arrive here and get into the tournament. And I think each player, from whatever country you're coming from, feels that intensity. So they're into it straight away. And that when you're under that sort of intensity and that pressure of performance, whoever the guy sitting next to you with the same shirt on, you're going to become a mate of very quickly.
Oh, yeah, and this is probably something that the fans are going to be very interested in. I'm going to talk about the captain of the team, Virat Kohli. Superstar in every sense of the word, probably breaking records every time he steps onto the field, and is inspiring a whole generation of cricketers in India and around the world. You've seen him from close quarters, and I think what people want to know is what makes Virat Kohli Virat Kohli.
I don't think that anything needs to be documented by me. He's proved his worth as a cricketer. I think his big focus this season is to really build a team, and he just wants to be one of the players on the team. I think he's trying to move away from all the hype being around him, and I'm very excited by that because I think that's how our team should operate. Everyone feels that they can make a contribution, and in a tournament as long as this, you're not going to win trophies unless there are a lot of people who are making good contributions. So he just wants to be one of those players, and I like his attitude towards that because I think it'll make a massive difference to the team.
No matter what happens on the field, win or lose, through thick or thin, there's something about the culture of this RCB brand that makes fans come back game after game, season after season, support stronger than ever before. Just a few words for the fans before we start our IPL season.
Yeah, I mean, the support is always amazing at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, should I say. And I think it's fantastic when we arrive there and the players get pumped up by it, that's for sure. We know that the franchise is well supported. We know that we've always generally had a very good team over the years. We also have high expectations in terms of what we want to achieve as a team, and hopefully we can unlock that and really make the fans proud of supporting this badge and what it stands for them.
Thank you. Maybe signing off on that note, what can we expect from Royal Challengers of Bangalore in the upcoming season?
Well, it's always dangerous to predict in T20 cricket. Every team's got strong squads, and every team's planning and strategizing against the opposition and what their own strengths are. We're doing the same. I think this tournament will rest on some good momentum at important stages in the tournament, and the confidence and the belief that you can go beat any opposition, that you've got the squad where lots of guys can win games of cricket for you. And we kind of, in our preparation leading up to this tournament, just building on that.
Gary, thank you so much for taking time out. And on behalf of all the fans, 12th Man TV, we're wishing you and the team all the very best before an upcoming season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Gary Kirsten, coach of the Royal Challengers of Bangalore. We're getting up for IPL 2019.
Hey RCB fans, we created an exclusive app for all of you. So cheer at the stadiums, but stay connected off the field as well and come and support us throughout the season. Cheers.